What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. All right, I'm doing my morning ritual, training mounts, doing writs. It's kind of a thing I do, right? I mean, I think most of us do it. It eats up a lot of time,
There's an urgent task for you.
but boy, some dead silence yesterday when I finalized my build on my Mage Blade after the update. Just dead silence. And you know why? Because I'm no theory crafter. I have stated that time and time again. I do not work in theory. Okay? You have to understand my background. I only work in absolution. Right? And when I work with like diminishing returns and different values, the rate of inflation, trickle economics, all of these things, like they meant something to me. And in my real life, at one time, very much so. And I always laugh when people call themselves theory crafters because it's like, what? You can't prove what you're doing? You can't prove it? Because that's the deal. If you can't prove something, then why are you doing it? A theory is something in definition that cannot be proven. That's what a theory is in definition. Something that cannot be proven. So if you're theory crafting, you're speculating that this is the best given your circumstances. Oh, oopsie, forgot to push it over. So that's what you're doing. That's essentially your, we think that I believe this is the best in theory. And it's like, okay, well, I don't got time for flipping theories, man. I ain't got time for that. And I'm not going to waste other people's time, right? If I come out with a build, I'm coming out with its functionality for what I'm, attempting to do. I'm not gonna sit there and, say, oh, you know what, you guys should do this because I have a feeling. No. It's like, here's the numbers, here's what I'm doing, this is what I'm, where I'm at. Given the fact that I try to put builds together that are accessible, that are easily accessible. So I ain't got time for theories. I ain't got time to, speculate. I have to know in advance how the math works out and if people are getting more bang for their buck. Okay? That's what I do. I'm not going to, sit around and, speculate. I have time and time again have proven the meta players wrong. Time and time again. Because they don't know the math. They're working in theory because guess what? They plug away on, their metrics, and then they rely on the metrics to go ahead and show the results, and they just plug in the current gear, the new gear, maybe one or two other configurations, like, well, this is the best I got, so this is the best in the slot. But they don't understand passive or class, race, attributes, and passive contributions to each of the classes to understand the same configuration does not work for every build. Yes, you can use like a same static set, but your secondary set's going to differ because of your class, because of your race. Your mundus is going to change based on those observations. And if they can't understand that, they'll never maximize or min-max jack shit. Because they're still working in theory. Okay? That's why. And am I a theory crafter? No. I understand the numbers way too much to ever say I have a theory. It's like, this is the best what I can produce without going here or going there. I never say best in slot because there are in different values, meaning I can pick up a same stats by different means. Okay, there's usually different ways to, acquire those same numbers. So do I believe in a best in slot? I absolutely never have, because guess why? Because I know the numbers. And it's just like, you guys, after all this time, man, why after all this time is this stuff still happening? Why? I have taught people better. I have taught people better. And it's funny because I just had this conversation with my daughter. I'm like, you would think after I've proven something time and time again, right, in the laws of math, that it would stick, but it doesn't. And that's society. That's basically our society, right? They want to keep arguing against what? Presented evidence. Even when evidence is, there, people want to be in denial because they want to be right. But it's not about your ego. It's not about my ego. If something can be proven against something and the evidence is there, I've been wrong a time or two. Believe it. There's something I have overlooked many, many occasions. Many times. But like I said, I am not a theory crafter. I just don't do that. And I think a lot of people need to take a step back and realize it's... One second. Sorry, I'm back. Anywho. So, like I said, I think a lot of times it aggravates me anytime, I don't do certain things because I'm arrogant, am I a narcissist? To an extent, for sure. But I take self-recognition. But at the same time, I'm not afraid to call people out. So can that be narcissistic? Yes, but I think society in itself is somewhat narcissistic. Everybody wants to point the finger at somebody else. So, if people are that delusional, whatever. So, am I ranting or whatever? No, I'm just like, I am enjoying the dead silence. I'm enjoying that nobody can rebuttal. Nobody can sit there and argue it because it's not arguable. Zos nerfed crit. Mystic put a big middle finger and said, you know what? I'm better than you. You've underestimated me. You have way underestimated me. That was a poor mistake. Just because you want to take a nerf and make everybody fit everybody into the same base set, okay, fine. And you think we figured out a way to reduce their crit no matter what? Okay, fine. But I will overcome those obstacles. Believe it. Believe it. Most people are probably going to... people are going to be running daggers. That's a fact. Most stand builds will use dual wield daggers. That's a fact. Right? It's once again, are you going to conform, man? Are you going to try to push the envelope to just slightly curve something a little different to show there's ways around it, Because if you conform, you always will be a conformist. You always will be. You'll always be that person playing by their rules. But when you say, nah, man, I'm good. I can do this all day. I can. You know what?
Can you believe it?
Guess what? You become a leader. You become the new standard. And why? Because you knew something. You knew you could do it. You knew you could. That's what I tell my kids. Don't settle for anything less than what you are looking for, not what other people expect. Because when you live by others' expectation, the pressure never ceases. But when you live by your own expectations and you set the bar for yourself, the only person you're letting down is yourself. And it's funny to me. I'm laughing. I think it's hilarious because I see these content creators still calling themselves theory crafters. And I'm like, what? It can't be proven? You can't prove it? Is that what it is? It kind of makes you sound dumb if it's a theory craft. But when you say this is my build, right? This is its function, this is its purpose, then you're taking the theory out of it and you know for sure why you designed it, why you've designed the build that way. Okay, not all builds have to have a same functionality. As long as you know how the build, what the build's function is and why you put it together, it's not a theory. That is not a theory. You knew what you wanted. You knew what you were shooting for. So don't call it a theory. If it panned out to be the way you designed it, it's not a theory. If you want a regen build, you can have it in this game. Right? If you want a sustain build, you can have it. Is that a theory? No. That is not a theory. If you want, you know, a shield build, you know, you can have it. That is not a theory. If you want a crit build, you can have it. It's not a theory. If you want a base damage build, you can have it. You see where I'm going here? There is, the only theory is the ones that you cannot prove. In theory. Okay, so you can't prove it. If you can prove it, it's not a theory. Okay? So be confident. Have confidence in what you're doing and what you're, you know, revealing. Stop trying to impress people who don't give a shit about you in real life. Make them envious. Show them that you know what you're talking about. That's what I have to say about this. You know, I loved it because when people, I even tell people in my real life, I'm like, when people laugh at me, I've always gotten the last laugh. Because I've always played by one rule, the law of math. And that wins hands down every time. So when people want to laugh at me, they only make themselves look idiotic. Okay? So I always tell people, man, who's really looking dumb in the end?
Welcome, friend.
One second. Okay. Somebody took something on my dog. I don't know. Sometimes that's the only thing I probably don't know in this world. What's going on in my own home half the time. Anyways, so I'm gonna let you guys go. You know, I'm gonna finish out doing my little routine and my chores, and then I got some real life stuff to do today. But a lot of real life stuff to do today, actually. And you know, real life is a struggle, man. You know, I think we all go through that. Man, I'm going through my own at the moment. So, but, you know, I just lift my chin and I'm like, you know what? We'll get through it. We'll figure it out. We always do. have confidence. Don't let them dictate your objective. Set your own standard. Don't live by others. As always, I'm Mystic Raven. This is Mystic's MMOs. I am no theory crafter, but y'all can have a nice day.